Hi, and welcome to Rave Build's Financial Management System Overview. My name is Corey, Manager of Rave's Customer Support and Training Team. If you have any questions or to add on our financial management system to your Rave setup, you can reach us on 07210 2228, help@ravebuild.co.nz or ravebuild.co.nz. You can access a project's financial management system by clicking on the Jobs Budget tab. Once here, you'll see an easy and logical workflow, starting with sending your quote and tender requests out, receiving your quotes and tenders in, building up a client estimate or proposal, creating purchase orders if you use them, receiving bills in, and sending client invoices out, plus real-time project back costing reports, profitability reports displaying expected and real-time gross profit, a cost center report to see if you are under or over budget by your cost centers, and the option of connecting to Xero if set up. A training tutorial is available for each of these tabs, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into each of these in a few moments. But first, if you ever need to go back to the project's main construction subtabs, just click on the Overview tab here. And to get back to the Financial Management System workflow, we just click on the Budget tab here. So let's have a more in-depth look at each tab, starting with Quote Requests. The Quote Request tab allows you to request price and tender submissions and see all existing quote requests for this particular job. You can easily request a quote or tender request via the Create a Quote Request button. Noting who the request is being sent to, the category this quote request will fall under, and when you want to receive the quote back. You can link to the project's plans and specification documents via the project's plans and specs link, and/or attach documents to the quote request. You can add in your quote request message and company branding, and you can even create your own quote request message templates. Back to the quote request overview, each quote displays the quote request QR number, the contractor or supplier business name, the key contact at the business, their trade, their quote expiry, and the quote status, which ranges from pending, the contractor hasn't looked at the quote yet, viewed, the contractor has opened it, quoted, the contractor has sent their quote back, and closed, when you no longer need a quote to be submitted. The Quotes and Prices tab displays any quotes received, whether that is by the contractor submitting the quote via Rave or emailing the quote back to you for you to load into Rave on their behalf. A branch quote can be added by you for any work that you and your team are doing yourselves. You can easily load a quote received or a branch quote by clicking on the Add Quote Price button. You can link back to an existing quote request to quickly populate the existing details, or manually select who the quote is from. If you're doing this portion of the job yourself, you would select your business name here instead. You can note how long the quote is valid for, add in or copy and paste the scope of works, along with any inclusions or exclusions. You can attach the quote PDF here also. If the contractor hasn't loaded any line item details, you can add them here as well. And you can add your markup at a line level and across the whole quote as required. Back to the Quotes and Prices overview, Each quote received lists the quote reference number, the estimate category, the business name, their trade, the quote request status, the quote received status, and the total cost of the quote to your business, excluding GST and excluding any margin you've added. You can move a quote, all quotes, to your client estimate, and you can easily convert a quote, all quotes, to a client invoice. The Estimates tab is where you can generate a customer-facing quote or estimate. All of the quotes moved into your estimate will be listed at the bottom of this page. The main differences in this estimates overview are we have an indication of whether the quoted items have been ordered and the client total column, which displays the cost of the quote to your client, including any markup, but still excluding GST. Up top to the left, we have your margin and markup adjustment. You can adjust these to recalculate the project value and profitability figures to the right. And you can also add a client project contingency with the option of displaying this amount in the client's proposal. To the right, we have the total project value and a selection of other values. The total project value, including markup, excluding GST, and the total project value, including GST and markup. The average and total markup apply to your line items. Any markup adjustments to reach your target profit margin, the total GST, the total raw cost to you, excluding GST and markup, the calculated margin or profit you'll make after costs, assuming that all costs have been loaded against this job, and the total project value, including contingency, with a breakdown of the client project contingency by percentage and dollar value. Once you have all of your costs loaded and you've achieved your target profit margin, you can generate a client quote or estimate proposal by clicking on the Generate Proposal button here. You have a number of selection options which dictates how the proposal is displayed, either as a quote or an estimate, one of 7 different proposal layout options, and whether you want to include the quote scope of works, the quote inclusions and exclusions, and the client project contingency. We also give you the option of attaching your terms and conditions to the end of the proposal. You can create and keep a range of terms and condition versions to add depending on the type of job you're quoting on. You can also create terms and condition versions with some about us and/or testimonial pages added in. Once your proposal has been fully accepted by the client, you can just click on Approve Estimate to lock in your client's current pricing and your supplier's quotes. Any further amendments become variations, which can be quote requested separately and priced out later. Purchase orders can be created at any time and pushed through to zero if connected, with or without any quotes being received or a proposal being accepted by the client. You can add a purchase order following a similar workflow as loading in a quote. You can easily convert an existing quote into a purchase order. And you can also select a purchase order or purchase orders to quickly convert those into a client invoice. Bills can also be loaded at any time and pushed through to zero if connected. Again, that's with or without any quotes being received, purchase orders being sent, or a proposal being accepted by the client. You can add a bill following a similar workflow as loading in a quote or creating a purchase order. You can easily convert an existing purchase order into a bill. You can select a bill or bills and quickly convert that into a client invoice. And you can also convert a bill or bills into a supplier credit note. The Invoices Out tab keeps a track of all financial management system invoices sent from Rave. which can be sent through to your accounts person to process and push through to Xero if connected. And again, you can easily create a client credit note from here as well. With the back costing tab, you can view your real-time back costing data. In the top portion to the right, we display your budget total, the purchase orders total, the bills in total, the client invoice total, and the expected gross profit total, which is your signed contract price less your budget. We also display the client contingency total if added, and we've included these handy little definition pop-ups. These totals all combine to provide you with your project's running profit. If this amount is green, you are in profit. If it's red, it means you need to send your clients more invoices. Also, your variance of your bills and budget. If this number is 0, your budget is correct. Otherwise, you have a budgetary leak to follow up on. In the bottom portion, you have access to a number of more detailed back costing reports, which you can run via the category view, a supplier view, or an at-a-glance back costing overview. The profitability reports displays the expected gross profit and the actual running gross profit across your project. Also showing the contract price, the budget, the total bills received, and the remaining budget to spend. We have a profitability breakdown by your estimate categories, allowing to see how much of your budget is remaining. And we also display all invoices sent to your client to date. The Cost Center Reports tab provides a detailed report of all costs by your cost centers, also known as your general ledger account codes. It compares your actual cost to your estimates broken down by these cost centers. And finally, we have the financial button, which gives you access to financial reports across all of your jobs. The Overview tab provides you with a shortcut to all of your project's financial details. You can search by the project, the site address, a purchase order, a bill, or an invoice. And we have an action drop-down to quickly add a new quote request, a new quote, a new purchase order, or a new bill to a project. The company profitability report displays expected and actual gross profit across all projects that have any financial data loaded. And the progress payment report lists all client payments requested by 3 status categories. Pending for any payment requests that have not been made, unpaid for those that have been requested but not yet paid, and paid. And that brings us to the end of our Rave financial system overview. Up next are our Rave how-to tutorials, where we show our Rave financial management system users on how to work through the budget sub-tabs. Please contact us if you'd like to add on Rave's financial management system to your existing Rave build setup. Thank you for your time today, and thank you very much for choosing Rave to help you manage your business.